another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I'm your host, WIZE. My next guest, hold on, I'm messing this up. Today I'm excited to welcome Chad Austin, a fitness expert, author, and coach who is on a mission to help people stop the cycle of inconsistency and make fitness a lifelong priority. Let's welcome Chad to the show. Hey, Chad, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Pleasure's all mine, brother. I'm glad this is something that's important because Americans are out of shape and obese, and it's great to see that you're doing something to help change that. That's awesome. So let me jump right into the questions I got for you.
Okay.
What inspired you to write your book series, Make Fitness a Priority?
Yeah, I'd been a trainer for about a decade when I started writing the book. I was working on my public speaking and in Toastmasters, where I was doing that. All of my speeches and content were about long-term fitness, and I'd kind of just started my own business. And after working at 24-Hour Fitness for several years, and I just kind of learned the first tough lesson all fitness professionals learn is that short-term motivation leads to short-term results. Like everyone comes to a personal trainer fueled by short-term motivation, right? There's something coming up in their lives that they want fast results for, right? Whether it be a wedding, a swimsuit season's coming up, they got a vacation, reunion, something like that. And so we're helping them get fast results. But if we never take the time to look past that, then as soon as that event's done, then all of the results are going to start to go away as well. And so I realized that is the pattern that we're in. Everyone kind of gets stuck on the inconsistency roller coaster where fitness is just a part of their life in spurts, but it doesn't really stick. And I wanted to kind of change that narrative. So it started actually with the poll question. And I asked as many people as I could online. I asked, what are your top priorities in life? And the top answers I got were family, career, faith. But nobody said health and fitness. And so I just started to dive into that a little bit more and just realize that fitness is always what we plan to get to later and don't really don't make much sense of urgency to it. So the book is kind of all about the reasons why you need to change that mindset and how to do it.
So why do most people struggle with staying consistent in their fitness journey?
Majority of people, it happens over time because we get to a point where life changes happen like they do to all of us. And all of a sudden what we did for fitness in the past no longer fits the life we're living right now. And as we're really good at adapting to life changes when it comes to, our family, our career, our faith, those things that we deem most important, we're not good at adapting the change when it comes to our health. And so we get stuck into this pattern where we're always trying to do something we did in the past because we know it worked, but it doesn't necessarily fit right now. And that's the golden rule that I've learned. If you want something to stick, what you do for fitness has to fit in your life. If it doesn't fit, it won't be there very long. I mean, you can have some willpower and be so determined to get results that you can force something to fit for a little while. But eventually, if it doesn't really fit, it's going to hurt the balance of your life. And the other things that are real important to you, like your family, your career, your relationships, your job, those things are going to suffer. And eventually you'll realize the thing that's not fitting is what you're doing for fitness. And so we have to learn how to adapt to change to figure out what fits right now. Otherwise, we'll never get off this inconsistency.
Well, what's the most common excuse you hear from your clients, and how do you help them overcome it?
Easily, I don't have time. I'm too busy. That's, that's our easiest, low-hanging fruit excuse we can use for anything in life. I'm too busy. I don't have time. And like I said, the reason we get stuck on that a lot of times the reason we get stuck on I'm too busy, when people say I'm too busy, what they really mean is I'm too busy to work out like I used to. And so it's like we have, whenever our determination, our desire reaches its peak, right? I want to look and feel better. Change is going to happen. Once we reach there, we always think of the last time we earned great results, or whatever we did the last time we had great success. And then whatever we did for our workouts, whatever we did for nutrition, whatever we did for everything, that is the bar. And like doing anything less than that is not doing enough. It's almost something we'd be ashamed of. And so we don't have enough time. Then we get stuck on the I don't have time because we don't think it's okay to do less. And we have to take that way of thinking and just throw it out the window. Doing less does not make something less important to us. All it means is it fits differently right now. And that's an important realization that people have to make in order to get past that I'm too busy obstacle.
So how do you personally stay motivated on the days when you don't feel like working out?
Well, I've learned lots of tricks over the years, but I'm not going to pretend that it's not hard. you know, the making fitness a priority in your life, especially year round, it's hard for everybody. And accountability, the more you can get in there, in your life, I think is important. I think we have a tough time with that word accountability sometimes in our society. We like to think that means weakness or like cheating in a way. And if you are thinking that way, I'd like to challenge you to change your way of thinking on that. The accountability, getting help is not a form of weakness. All it means is that it's more important to you. The more important something is to you, the more you should set yourself up for success. And so like I have my own personal trainer. I have for a long time. And because there'll be times in the year where my motivation is just lacking. Like everyone's motivation fluctuates over time. There'll be times when I'm in really a sweet spot with my workouts. I'm in a workout zone, as we like to think of it. And I can't wait for my next workout. I'm feeling strong. I'm really enjoying it. And at that time, I don't need as much help. I can hold myself accountable easily. But there'll be other times of the year where I need my personal trainer watching me do every single rep, or I may not do it. Like if she calls in sick, I'll probably won't work out that day. And we all face that. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just reality. Even the most professional athletes in the world, they go in seasons. They don't work out as hard as they can year round. No one can. And so it's okay for it to fluctuate a little bit, but when it's tough, that's when you have to reach out and get more help and have more accountability so you can be sure that you're going to follow through with what you said you're going to do.
What's one of the biggest misconceptions people have about fitness and health?
There's a lot of them, but I think probably the best way to think about it is that fitness is different for everybody. Like what you want to get out of fitness is different now probably than it was when you were 20 years younger. It always fluctuates throughout the course of our life. Since I've been in fitness for over 20 years now, I've been able to train a lot of my close friends and family. That's a perk you get when you do something for long enough. You get to help a lot of people. And probably, my parents are both probably the most supportive people in my life. I'm lucky to have that. But my dad was it probably took him the longest to jump on board and let me help him. And because his idea when he heard personal training, he thought of bodybuilding. And as a 70-year-old man and we're in his 70s, that's not the case for him at all. It's more for fitness for him means more about, keeping his range of motion, being able to live pain-free, being able to move up and down the stairs without any trouble, being able to do everything he used to be able to be an active grandparent, an active person in their later in life. And so, and there's other people that their definition of fitness might be weight loss. Some it might be strength training. Some it might just be, dealing with their stress and depression. And so it's different for everybody. It's not one size fits all with fitness. Fitness is your own definition. What do you want to get out of it?
Can you share a personal experience where fitness helped you overcome a major life challenge?
Yeah. I think, fitness was my second career. I actually was a PE teacher and strength coach and wrestling coach for 3 years first. And I almost didn't make it into the coaching the teaching because I had such anxiety speaking in front of a group. And so I had to really work on that to be able to overcome that obstacle. And then as I became a teacher, I kind of went from being as I went to be a personal trainer, I went from being in a really small area to a big one. And a lot of that came back. And it was probably my second year into training that I realized that I'd always been attracted to exercise because it was my best medicine. It is my best medicine to handle my anxiety, to my depression, or anything I was dealing with at the time. And once you really realize that about yourself, something like that, it really shines a spotlight on everything you've done in the past that maybe is the wrong medicine. And so I think that really kind of fuels my passion for this, because I realize, as humans, when we find ourselves in the spots where our health is not a priority and fitness is kind of fallen off to the side for a while, the farther we are from fitness fitting in our life, the farther away we get from being the best version of ourselves. And it's just doing a disservice for ourselves, because I think for everybody, the first line of defense to be your best is exercise and nutrition. And I think realizing that just really kind of fueled my passion, because it was such an important thing for me in my life, learning that. And so it really fuels my passion to help everyone else kind of realize that same thing, and helping them figure out how it fits in their life so they can use fitness to be able to show up as the best version of themselves in life, whether things are going good or bad.
What's the first step for someone? What's the first step someone should take when trying to prioritize fitness into their busy life?
I help people do this regularly. This is helping people figure out how fitness fits in your life, especially busy people. So, I mean, many of you can relate to my story. I mean, I was an athlete. I was always in great shape, and it was easy for me to do that. I was definitely one of those people that ate terrible in college and when I was younger, and it didn't matter. I still stayed fit, and then eventually that caught up to me, and I had to learn how to eat healthy, and I had to learn how to make myself work out when I didn't want to, because I didn't have practice anymore. But I think the point is that whenever it gets hard, we have to have a little bit of a bird's eye view, right, of how things fit. And so I help people figure out how fitness fits in their life by kind of going through just kind of a pause, and I call it a cleanse and reset. But the fitnesspivot.com, that's my website there, you can go to. But that's the first thing I do with people. I help them re-answer the question. Like I said earlier, what's your definition of fitness? And so if that question doesn't quite hit your ears right, another way to look at it is, what does fitness mean to me right now? But I think that our answer to that question fluctuates over time, and it always starts by re-answering that question. You start where you're at. There's a saying in fitness that I'm not where I want to be because I keep trying to start where I wish I was. It's like whenever we get off track for a while, we try to start back up, and we always try to start where we left off. But you don't do that in fitness. You don't do that in health. You have to start where you are right now. And it starts by just rediscovering, what does fitness mean to you right now? Why is it important? How could this change my life? Asking you those kind of questions. And so that's what I do with people. So every time I meet a new person, the first thing I do is I take them through a cleanse and reset, where first we figure out so the cleanse is a cleanse for your mind. Right. So I decided, these are great questions. Everyone needs to answer these questions. And how do I get them to do that? Well, everyone loves doing a cleanse. I'll call it that. And so this is a cleanse for your mind, though. So it's getting rid of all the negative thoughts, all the toxic way of thinking that you have that's doing you no good, and replacing it with what is going to help you going forward. So we start with that in the cleanse. And then the reset is just taking a look at what your life looks like. What does my family schedule look like? What does my work schedule look like? Where are my passions in life? What does already my life look like? And now where does fitness fit? How much accountability do I need to be successful? Those kind of questions. So, but that's where it always starts with people, the cleanse and reset in my programs.
So you talk about the cleanse and reset and everything. So how is it that you help clients shift their mindset from I have to work out to I get to work out?
I think it's realizing the importance, and so diving deep into why. Whenever we're always going to come to a time where you don't want to work out. No matter where you start and what kind of workout zone you start in, there's going to be times where it's going to be hard. There's where you don't want to work out. You don't feel like going to the gym. You don't want to stick to your meal plan. You'd rather have something else that day. And when it's time comes and it's harder to make the sacrifices, you need to know why you're doing it. So I think that is always the best answer to that question, or how do you get yourself to do it when you don't want to, is to really understand why you're doing it. And so that question, whenever I have people set goals, it starts with kind of the redefining what fitness means to you. And the next part of that is why? Why is this important? And your first answer to that is always way too vague. So it's always about the dig deeper part. Why do I want to get in shape? Dig a little deeper. Why? Or then dig a little deeper. The deeper you dig, the more what we call why fuel. The more why fuel you're going to have. So no matter and if you dig deep enough, it won't matter how much you don't want to do something or how much obstacles or adversity is in your way, you're still going to be able to find a way to get it done.
What's one workout routine or fitness routine that you believe everyone should incorporate in their lives? Something even from the teenagers to someone in their 70s.
Yeah, and probably there's lots of answers to that one too. But as far as a workout, just moving, then I think it's walking. You know,
Yeah.
is that I think walking leads to meditation as well. But I think walking is one of the best. Walking is one of the most underrated. You know, people should walk every day. And if you're having a tough day at work, if you have a tough stretch at work right now, you know, breaking up those stressful moments at work with a 15-minute walk will do you wonders. Just to kind of get your mind right, to reset, get your body moving a little bit, and get your heart rate up. It would just do great for your brain, give you some endorphins, get your back in a good mood, have you kind of, you know, step back and, you know, take a breath. But I think one of the healthier things we can do is that's why I think when we first got on the trend of keeping track of our steps, where everyone was keeping track of their steps and the goal was to get 10,000 steps a day. That is something that was a very good trend that started years ago with everyone wearing one of those, but that should keep going. I mean, if that should be always, if you're trying to reestablish some habits, we always talk about one being like to drink more water. Walking more is a good one too. So if you haven't, it might be if you haven't been doing anything for a while and you're getting started with the fitness program, like walking might be part of your activity for the week, but hopefully eventually it gets to just being part of what you do and it doesn't even count.
How would how would you tell someone who's dealing with a setback like injury or personal struggles to keep moving forward?
Yeah, those happen, and just know that they happen to all of us. You know, there's no perfect path. You know, we live in an instant gratification world right now, and so year round, it used to be just around January that we'd hear all the instant gratification and the scams and stuff out there, but now it's year round. It's gotten so bad, but there's constant promises of fast results with little or no work on your part, and it's gotten to a point where we have no patience at all, and we want the results to be so fast. And if you're going through an injury, you know, there's lots of things you can, especially if you hurt your lower body, you can do more upper body. If you hurt your upper body, you can do more lower body. If maybe you can't lift heavy because you're overcoming something, you could do more cardio, or you could, you know, change your pace, change it from being strength training to endurance training for a while. There's lots of things you can still do. Although if you hurt your back for a couple, then you may be out of commission for a couple of days. That's the one exception, but it's just going to be a short period of time. And so when you're going through it and you're recovering, it's going to feel like an eternity, because especially if you get injured in the middle while you're in a really good workout zone and you're really doing great, and all of a sudden you get this derailed by an injury. It happens to all of us. It's a frustrating thing to know when it happens, but just know that that's part of the journey too. You know, there's no goal that you can set for yourself, especially a big one, that has a clear path to victory. You know, there's always going to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back, at least all the way there. And sometimes we'll have some big setbacks, but it doesn't have to stop you. And, you know, it's okay to be frustrated, but take a breath and just know what you can do now while you're recovering from this part. So don't ever let it stop you, is be my encouragement. But I empathize with you because it's frustrating. It is the worst when you are really getting yourself in a workout zone, you're starting to see results, and all of a sudden you get sick or you get injured or something happens that just, you know, completely changes your schedule, or there's going to be obstacles and you just have to adapt to it. Like, I control what you can control. I can't change this, but I can not let it stop me. I can pivot. I can do this.
We talk about working out and walking and everything, but what role does nutrition play in maintaining a sustainable fitness lifestyle?
A lot. Exercise and nutrition, like I said, that's always your first line of defense. Whenever you're going through things good or bad in life, you want to be able to show up as the best version of yourself, right? And the best way to, you know, the bare minimum of putting the oxygen mask on yourself, and making sure that you're showing up as the best version of yourself is exercising and eating healthy. It doesn't mean you can't eat anything unhealthy, but having that good, healthy balance in your life where you're eating healthy, and that's part of who you are. That's an important thing to strive to. I mean, everyone, we end up getting short-term results sometimes, or we have setbacks from time to time, but no one goes into it wanting their results just to be temporary. And so the more you go into it with the idea of you're not just trying to get results for this event that's coming up in your lives, you're trying to change who you are. Really what you're trying to do, you're trying to do an identity change. You're trying to be the person. I work out, I'm fit, I eat healthy, I am the best. I show up as the best version of myself because I take good care of myself, those kind of things. And so nutrition plays a huge part in that. Like if you're trying to lose weight, you can't do it if you don't keep track of your calories, if you don't eat healthy. If you're trying to gain strength, you can't do it if you don't eat enough protein. If you're trying to, if you're trying to be an endurance athlete, you can't do it if you don't have enough carbs. You can't do it if you don't have enough fuel. So it always plays a big role. So sometimes if you just need to get started, enough of what you're doing that's wrong, to cut out and just replace it with a few healthy habits.
Okay. What are some simple strategies people can use to stay accountable to their fitness goals?
Get some accountability in your life. That's a first step. So whether that be to hire a personal trainer or find a workout buddy, find a gym that some of your friends go to already. If you haven't done that, one thing I would say that the easy thing you do to keep yourself accountable is to know that you don't have to do it all by yourself. That is a recipe for failure, thinking that you do have to do it all by yourself. And the more you surround yourself with people that are on the same mission of you, the better. That is a problem that is a big hurdle that some of us face right away. I think it's Jim Rohn that said, we are the average of the closest five people in our lives, right? And so if you're trying to be on a fitness journey and you look around at all the five people we spend the most time with don't care about their health at all, and are not healthy people, then I'm not saying you need to get rid of those people, but you need to find another group of people that can be on this mission with you. And I think that is very important to do. You need to have your community. You need to have a group of people that are on your side. And at thefitnesspivot.com, if you don't have a community, welcome to ours. It's a free community to join. But seriously, this is a very important thing. You don't want to start something hard and try to celebrate. You want to be able to celebrate every single win. Say if you have a long goal, it can seem like a marathon. It can seem like the finish line is so far away. And if you're only focused on how far away it is, you're never going to get there. You have to be able to celebrate every milestone, every win on the way. And that just builds your confidence. You got to stack all those wins. And if you're trying to do that and you're trying to celebrate those wins with the people in your life right now, and they're just going to just dismiss them all and pop all your balloons like they don't matter, then you're not going to last. You need to have a group of people who will celebrate with you and encourage you and pick you up and help you overcome the obstacles coming ahead.
How does your approach to fitness is differently from traditional trainers and coaches?
I think I think the norm right now in fitness is about how fast you can get results. And that's what sells. That's what everybody wants. It's the classic case, give someone what they want so you can then give them what you need. So, you want to get results and you want to feel good. That's why we do it. We want to, if a lot of times it's weight loss, a lot of times it's get stronger or whatever, or have more energy. Those are the top goals. But you can do those things and get some quick wins and quick success, all while having a big picture of I'm trying to change my identity. I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to add years to my life. I'm trying to show up as a better version of myself for everything that I'm going through right now, whether it's good or bad. And so, I think, I'll help if you have a short-term goal. all motivation is awesome. Any motivation is awesome. So if you have something coming up that's going to give you some fire right now and light the fuse to help you get going, then we'll lean into that. But we're not going to just lean into that. We're also going to look past it, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure this isn't just temporary results we're getting you. We're setting you up for lifetime success. And so I would say that is the difference. I'm not interested in helping you get a short-term goal. I'm happy to help you do that and be along that because it's exciting and now be empowering when we reach it. But I'm more interested and excited about the results you get past that.
How has your personal definition of fitness evolved over the years?
Yeah, a lot of it that we kind of said already. I definitely, when I first started, it was more about fast results. It was more about, my own definition of fitness was probably what was more important to me was how I looked. And that's always a part of it for us all a little bit. But in my 20s, when I first became a trainer, it was more about being as strong and as lean and as shredded as I could be, probably. And now, all those things are still important. I want to look good, but it's more about what fitness just does for me as a person. How it can make me feel better. I know when I'm taking good care of myself, and this is an important thing that I try to really bring home to anyone. And the whole point of putting the oxygen mask on yourself and that nutrition and exercise being your first line of defense to show up as yourself. That whole question I asked at the beginning about my book, what is your top priorities in life? I know that when I am taking good care of myself, if I'm exercising regularly, if I'm eating healthy, if I'm getting good sleep, I'm staying hydrated, I'm doing all the things that I know are important to be my best. I'm a better husband. I'm a better son. I'm a better friend. I'm a better at my job. I'm in a better mood. I have more energy. I'm better across the board. It overflows into all areas of my life. And on the flip side of that, when I'm not taking good care of myself and I'm putting that to the side as if I'm going to get to it later, then I think the complete opposite is true. I am the worst version of myself. I don't have the energy. I don't have the confidence. I am probably in a bad mood, which then hurts my relationships. And so it really doesn't matter what your answer is to the question. What are your most important things in life? What are your top priorities? I don't believe you'll be able to show up as the best version of yourself if fitness is not a part of your life as well. And so that is kind of my main way of thinking. And that is why I try to help people realize when they meet me. I think that's the most important lesson in fitness, but for some reason, it is the hardest for us to grasp. So that what you do for fitness has to fit in your life. And if you figure out how it fits, you're going to be able to show up as the best version of yourself, no matter what curveballs life throws at you.
We actually have some comments. We have Mickey Delaney who stops by and says, "Hi, Chad. Hi, Wise. Hey, Mickey, how you doing?" My good friend of mine, Obama Brown, is asking us how we're doing. How are we? He also says fitness is great for self-esteem. It's great positive outlet. He also wrote strong mentality and the goal is why you're doing it. He agrees with what you were saying. And he says, I love exercise and it can fight off disease.
Yeah, very awesome. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. But now, Chad, we've come to the part of the show where you get the solo screen and you get to plug away and let them know where they can find you, where they can get the book, everything.
All right, great. Yeah, so thefitnesspivot.com, that is where you can find me. And I've been in fitness for over 20 years now. My strength at this point is helping you figure out how fitness fits in your life. We always get stuck on this inconsistency roller coaster. Everybody does. I have struggled a lot in my life. I don't shy away from that. I lean into it. I think it makes me a better personal trainer, just being able to say that this isn't easy. There's going to be times when it's easy, but there's times when it's hard for all of us as well. And any fitness professional out there is trying to say otherwise is lying. This is anybody struggles from time to time because no one is immune to life's changes and challenges and unexpected curveballs that we get from time to time. And when those challenges happen, whether they be good changes or bad changes in your life, you want to be able to show up to life as the best version of yourself. And you're able to do that, I believe, by putting, like I said, the oxygen mask on yourself first. And that is taking care of yourself by, taking the best care of yourself with your first line of defense, exercise and nutrition. And the only way you do that is learning how it fits in your life. I can't stress this enough. What you do for fitness, if you want long-term success, if you want your identity to be a fit person and that shows up as the best version of yourself, then what you do for fitness has to fit in your life. Most of us have trouble getting fitness to fit. If you're someone that is stuck on that roller coaster where fitness is just a part of your life in spurts, but it doesn't really seem to stay very long, it's because you're probably trying to do something that no longer fits in your life. It fit in the past, but your life is different now. So now you have to adapt, just like you do already with your family, your career, your faith. When life changes happen, you have to also do it with your health and fitness. And what does it fit? How does it fit in your life right now? And you may have to do that regularly. But that's the first thing I do with people. I take people through a cleanse and reset and help them figure out how fitness fits in their life. And that is something that that you'll have an effects from and an impact from long after my time with you is over. I want my impact to be, I don't want to just help you get results and then that to be it. I want your results to last long after my time with you is over. And that's what I strive for. But at thefitnesspivot.com, you can set up a call with me, a strategy session, game plan strategy session, I like to call it. And you can join our community so you can surround yourself with other people who are on the same mission as you, who are going to celebrate your wins and pick you up and help you, encourage you for the obstacles that are ahead.
Thank you, Chad. That was a some great nuggets in there. I greatly appreciate you being a guest. This was a great conversation. I had a great time. I've got to learn a lot about what's going on with what you're doing and everything. And it was actually one of, like, I've been away because I've been recovering from surgery, so I haven't been doing many shows. And actually today we had a pretty good audience coming now live, at least us live, and so we have some pretty good people stopping by. I greatly appreciate you coming on the show. You're more than welcome to come back. I love having guests that have something to share, and if you write another book or if you got a program you want to promote, I would love to have you back on and share that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely will. Thank you.
But don't leave just yet. Let me close out the show and we'll chat a little bit off there. But thank you so much, man. This has been wonderful.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Another great show was in the books. Thank you, Obaimi, for stopping by. Greatly appreciate it. Big shout out to Mickey Delaney for coming through and leaving a comment. Everybody who's going to catch a replay, leave a comment. I greatly appreciate it. Right? If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Big shout out to the Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady. Love you. Hope you're feeling better. And as always, big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know your boy Wise does it. Peace out.